For years, this was what my weekends were made of. Fish soup noodles at Ka-Soh before a night out with my best friends. I followed the restaurant as it moved from place to place, but in a few months, it's the end of the line for my fish soup pursuits.
After 86 years of one of the oldest independent restaurants in Singapore, we are closing our doors for good.
One of my favorite restaurants is closing forever. And more are following suit. So far in 2025, an average of about 250 F&B businesses are closing every month. In 2024, over 3,000 shut their doors, the highest in 2 decades. In this special 2-part series, I want to find out what's behind this unprecedented spate of closures. What's really eating our F&B businesses and how does it impact you? I'm here to meet the owner of Ka-Soh to find out why they were closing permanently. Oh, there they are. And to tapao some fish noodles, of course. Wow, full house. Let me join the queue.
Hi, Dinah. Sorry to keep you waiting.
No. Thanks for seeing me.
Ka-Soh was started by my grandfather in 1939. I'm the 3rd generation owner.
Wow, this place looks simply furnished. How much did you spend on it?
We actually spent $150,000 on the renovations. We kept it very simple because we really needed the restaurant to start and to earn money for the get-go. The kitchen, let's go and check it out.
Okay.
So this is the kitchen and this is my workplace. I do the middle line.
The middle line,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
Basically trying to expedite the food from the cutter to where my cooks are.
You are the boss. Why do you have to be in the middle line?
Basically it's just to save money.
So I've worked in a hawker stall before. Can I help?
Sure, let's get to it.
Right, I'm ready.
Okay, so let's get 3 bowls of sliced fish roll soup and 2 bowls of star hor fun.
Okay. Thank you.
So now the noodles will go to where we are cooking. So this one goes to that table there.
So then the chef will take over.
Yep.
Okay.
The bowls here.
That's what you do lah. Day in, day out.
Yeah.
You just do the assembly.
Assembly for almost every dish in the restaurant.
Vegetables ready. The middle line puts it for the service. This for takeaway.
This for
Bring it over
takeaway,
to that
yep.
side. Okay.
The fried rice is ready.
Look at this fried rice. Okay, so this order is done.
Yeah.
I put it
And
at the
see at
front.
the- there?
Forget. Okay. Okay. Done. Thank you. Whew. I've been inside for only barely 30 minutes and everything happens at breakneck speed. Finally, Cedric and his staff get a reprieve. But not before one last job.
Hiring a dishwasher is quite costly. Where you can save, you save. Let's have a seat then.
Thank you.
We have decided to close our restaurant for good. A lot of thought has definitely gone behind the decision. It's a tornado of factors. Our rental lease is going to be up this year, so that's one of the decisions that forced us to
call it quits.
What do you mean when you say forced you to call it quits?
When your rent is up for renewal, usually you see rents going up by 30%. We are currently paying about 12,000 and our increment will bring it to about 15K. A 30% increase in rental, we need to sell an average of 300 bowls of fish soup noodles a month.
So let's do the math a little bit. On average, we're looking at about 10 to 11 bowls a day.
Yes.
Can you not sell an extra 10 to 11 bowls a day?
If you look at it this way, it's easy, but if your business is really at a certain point, you can't just increase it.
So why not increase your price?
For heritage businesses, we try not to increase our prices so much because we want to remain accessible to our long-time customers and they are quite price sensitive.
So you're caught in a place whereby you can't really or you don't want to increase your prices by too much.
Correct. Yeah.
But on the other hand, the overheads, the rentals, for example, will just keep going up.
Yeah.
Are you the only one facing pressures from rental?
Across the board, we are seeing about 30% increase when your rental contracts are up.
Ka-Soh has been around for 80 years, over 3 generations. How does it feel that it stops at your stage?
It's not a good feeling. I mean, I do portray a certain jovialness or certain laissez-faire attitude because I think that's trying to deal with that decision I've made. But it's definitely sad.
One word, how did it make you feel when you realized that you had to be the one to end the family tradition?
Defeated. Because you have really worked so hard for so many years and then you realize somehow you just need to say, we have enough.
Ka-Soh isn't the only household name throwing in the towel due to increasing rents. One area has come under the spotlight. After several long-standing establishments closed in recent years, one more will soon bite the dust. This is Terence Yao. He leads a group representing over 700 F&B and small businesses and has been advocating for tenant rights since the pandemic. Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
Wala Wala is such an institution here.
They've just announced recently that they've decided to shut down and exit this premise.
I think for a lot of people that will be the end of an era.
It is. Holland Village has lost a bit of its luster. It's not as crowded or as vibrant as it used to be. You can see a lot of shop houses seem to be hoarding up and an unprecedented turnover of many of our long favorite F&B joints. And we think that fast rising rental costs are a big part to play. If I show you the poll, within our community, a majority of tenants have reported increases of rentals between 20 to 49%. Right? So this is something that we have not seen over the past 15, 20 years.
Your organization is called Singapore Tenants United for Fairness. I note with interest that the word fairness, you're not asking for no rent increment, you are asking for fair increment.
That's exactly right, Diana. One of the biggest measures that we are proposing is to implement some sort of rental renewal caps indexed to inflation, CPI measures or GDP measures.
How will rental renewal caps help F&B operators?
By ensuring that after a tenant has put in 2 or 3 or more years effort building the business, renovating the shop, getting the customers, that tenant is not subject to a sudden big 50, 60, 70% hike.
Basically, there is some certainty and it allows the F&B operator to plan ahead.
That's right.
Okay. So as a consumer, I actually look forward to new F&B concepts mushrooming. I was like, oh, that's new, that one's new. So why should we worry that they are shutting down because of rent?
That's a fair enough question. I think the F&B scene or retail scene certainly requires a healthy and normal turnover. But what we're seeing over the past 12 to 24 months has been an unprecedented spike in rental renewal cost increases, especially across shop houses, that is causing more than your usual turnover and shutdown of F&B businesses.
Why is that happening?
Many factors, one of which is we are seeing a lot of local and foreign investment into strata title properties such as shop houses. You can see that with the implementation on restrictions on residential purchases, a lot of investor monies, both local and foreign, have gone into shop houses. And that has translated into correspondingly high expectations on rental yields. If this continues to happen, I think we're going to see a lot of heritage, traditional, your favorite stores dropping out of business forever. Is that a price that we are prepared to pay?
Rental data for the F&B industry isn't currently publicly available. Terence is pushing for that to change. But as for what's available now, an aspiring tenant may be able to get a sense of the market through these transacted prices listed on the Urban Redevelopment Authority's website. They were sorted out by property type and postal codes. But these are sales transactions, not rents. Landlords may also choose to base their asking rents on other factors rather than just the transacted prices listed here. Ka-Soh's staff have found out that the restaurant will be closing in a matter of weeks.
感到很惊讶这样咯，对不对？一下子说反正做几十没有关掉了，因为好多问题在啊，就是你要中起价的什么都有，我都会了解一下。我叫阿华啊，在家少做了差不多有19年了。 会都这么多年了，以前老板的儿子很小，有时老板带去我们餐厅那边，他们有时候会找我们家嫂去跟他煮一点东西啊，什么什么。
It took them quite a while to get used to me in the kitchen and to prove to them that I'm not here to play. I'm here to help you all like ease the workload. And now we are very open to talking about one another, and I do consult them like, this is something that I've been making at home. I've been trying out. What is your advice?
他就来这样，
哇，效果非常好啊！
I think they are shocked and they are sad, but I think they also understand what the situation is or what the current environment is in F&B.
The thing is, not all landlords are the same. In Singapore, you have a few types, including real estate investment trusts or REITs. These are funds that invest in real estate, like malls. Their investors include members of the public, who get regular payouts through a steady stream of rental income. That's why changes to rental rates within these properties tend to be less volatile, usually by a single-digit percentage every year. There are also private landlords, individuals or companies who get to set rents as they please. If you change your mind, give me a call. Thank you so much. I've been trying to convince private landlords to come on the show, but so far, none of them wants to appear on camera. So instead, I'm meeting a real estate consultant whose job is to help landlords find tenants for their spaces. Wow!
Look at this space.
This looks like it was an omakase place.
It was, but the owner has since stopped operating end of May this year after 2 years into the lease. So we are actually looking for a replacement tenant to take over the existing lease.
So we've seen quite a few shuttered shops like this one, and one of the main reasons people are saying that is because landlords are increasing rents by an exorbitant amount. Is that the case?
Well, rents that were signed during the COVID period were highly depressed because of high vacancy rates. So if a tenant managed to get a lease during the COVID period, chances are those rents will be way below the market norm. It is important to see the context. If somebody's rent is being renewed now, 3 years after COVID started, then even with a 50%, 100% rent increase, it may not be even up to where the market level is right now. Private landlords like this one, they are profit-driven entities. But what a lot of people don't realize is that these landlords themselves face rising costs. Construction costs have gone up by about 30% or so. Servicing the air conditioners, right, maintaining the property, costs of maintenance have also gone up by a lot, at least about 10%. These are costs that will have to be eventually passed through to the tenant.
Should more be done though? I mean, Singapore Tenants United for Fairness, they want a renewal cap on rental. What do you think of that? Can it be done?
I think that it will be difficult to impose a blanket market rate for rent increase because in retail and F&B, there are a range of different trade types. So if this space was not leased out to F&B because F&B is suffering now and cannot afford to pay the rent that's being asked for, then the landlord can actually reach out to another group of retailers, like a luxury watch brand coming in, which can actually pay even higher rents than the previous tenant.
That said, are there greedy landlords out there?
Well, I cannot say for every one of them, but most of the landlords would have to be reasonable in their rent increases because if it's priced too high, they risk a high turnover, right? Then the landlord will have a different set of problems later on, having to find a replacement tenant to paint a more objective picture. There are also tenants who have done very well and able to sustain the kind of rent increases that's being asked for. I'm not saying whether the rent increase is fair or not fair, but I think the reality is that there are businesses that are more profitable than others. So I think a lot of people are fixated with this idea of a greedy landlord, which is kind of sexy, I think, in the media, right, to label them as such. But the reality is that rent is only one component of the cost that the tenants are faced with. I think we're really sitting at the cusp of a perfect storm.
Rent increases are just the tip of the iceberg for Singapore's F&B businesses. According to official data, other costs are also rising, from goods and materials to utilities to manpower. All in, expenses for F&B businesses are at the highest they have been in over a decade. For this husband and wife team, dealing with rising manpower costs has hardly been a walk in the park.
Well, I'm seeing this place empty, but there are many reserved signs on every table. Why is that so?
So today is actually our second last day of operations. Tomorrow will be our last day. So we do have a few regular customers that are coming down for their last meal before we close.
Sarah and her husband have been in F&B for 11 years, with the last 3 spent here at Bishan Park.
This whole issue of manpower has always been there since day one when we opened.
Most of our kitchen staff especially, they are actually foreigners on work permit. Pre-COVID, a junior chef, we can offer them a salary of maybe 1,600 to 1,800. Once the lockdown happened during COVID, there was a lack of supply of cooks. So a lot of them actually went back to Malaysia. So those who are left here, it was actually a tussle between companies, fighting over this very limited supply of cooks that we have. Bigger companies were actually offering almost 1.5 to 2 times of what the norm was, just to make sure that they have enough manpower to sustain their own business. Smaller businesses like us, we're actually unable to compete on that level, but also at the end of the day, we had to increase and try to match at best. So from 1,600 to 1,800, we're actually offering them, 2,400, 2,500. So we try to match in terms of salary, and we cut down a bit on the working hours and try to be as as fair as we can be.
So basically what you're saying is that if you can't compete on their salary, at least those that you hire, you try to retain them.
Correct.
Because that's one way of controlling your costs as well. When you realize that you don't have deep enough pockets to compete with the big boys, how did you feel?
The feeling to describe is really hitting a wall, being trapped in a corner, and really running out of options at that point.
Why not automate some of your processes? For example, cut down on service staff.
Our staff have brought it up to us and we have discussed it many times, but to us, F&B is really about hospitality. It's about the human touch. So for us, we still want to keep that essence of F&B, even though manpower is a struggle. That's where I will come in, I'll work double time, I'll work every day.
What more can be done?
I think it would be a big help to all big or small F&B businesses is if there's some sort of relaxation on the work permit quotas. When we do see a relaxation, that means there's going to be more supply of workers coming in. Salaries can be better managed and small businesses can also plan for their operations.
In March 2025, the Restaurant Association of Singapore made a similar call for authorities to review its manpower policies in light of what it called a serious manpower crisis. The current foreign worker quota system, coupled by a lack of interest in F&B jobs among locals, has led to uncontrolled wage inflation. The result? More businesses risk incurring losses and being forced to shut down. This is not the first time they've done so, making a similar appeal in 2022. But rather than relent on quotas, authorities viewed the manpower crunch as a result of this, the continued increase in the number of F&B establishments. The number of F&B establishments has been on the rise over the past 2 decades. Today, that number sits at the highest level at over 15,000 establishments in Singapore. And while we started the show talking about the 3,000 closures in 2024, conversely, more than 3,790 new F&B spots opened in the same year. I want to know, if more businesses are opening than closing, then is the sector really in a crisis? Do you think that you guys are being eliminated, for want of a better word, because you simply aren't the fittest? And amidst this unforgiving F&B landscape, I bring in the experts to give one struggling family business a new lease of life. Let's shake your hands on it.
All right, I'll see you very soon again.